Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 9 of the 2021 USA TKD US Open. I'm National Coach Barbara Brand, along with everybody's, and I mean everybody's favorite Poomsae pal, Miyako Yerick. Hey, Miyako, you ready to jump into some junior and some freestyle action tonight?
I am so ready. It's the final episode.
Yes.
It's our last finals. Yes. We all made it. These were some really big divisions, weren't they?
Yeah, they were huge. And you know what? I know everybody is just sitting on the edge. Well, they're probably not on the edge of their seats yet, but they will be. So let's just get ahead, get going.
All right, and we're kicking off tonight with the junior male black belt recognized division. And here are your judges.
So first we have Bowman Kim from Georgia. Trains at Kim's K Taekwondo.
Seven is an interesting form here for the finals. Lots of grounded, different moves, lots of little things that they don't do in other forms, but no side kicks. We did get to see some in other rounds, so we know that all of these top 8 athletes have really good kicks. We just don't get to see a ton of them here in 7.
A little lean on the last line, but Bowman did a really great job of having a very little extra movement running through the form. He gets a 7.63 on Taegu Chiljung.
Oh, wow. So now we get 5. Good job.
She's great. The athletes will have a wonderful opportunity to show off their sidekick skills.
And so these athletes, we have 8 here in the full finals for the junior male black belt division. They started in a couple different flights. So now I think this is the first time that we're getting to see them in the order that they came in from the round before.
Right. Bowman did a really good job. Strong stability throughout the Poomsae, and another high score, 7.67 to start us off in this junior round. He'll finish with a 7.65. And up next, we have Bryson Lavorne. Bryson is from Tennessee. He trains at World Champion Taekwondo in Fairfield Town with Coach Cholun Kim and Gunsu Kim.
This junior division is 15 to 17 years old. Both Bowman and Bryson, our first 2 competitors, are both 15 years old, but they're able to show a lot of strength and power in their techniques, and also do a good volume of motion on the hand technique so that they look tall and big, which is important in this junior male division.
Yeah, Bryson, nice strong performance, a few short stances in there, and that might have impacted his overall look, and got a couple of hits there on accuracy as well. He finishes with a 7.5 for Taegu Chiljung.
Bryson enjoys tricking, which we can probably know from that massive air track they have behind them there. And he also edits cinematic videos, mainly of Taekwondo.
Interesting. As we watch this final 8 here, I'm really looking for this front line of Ojung as they come forward, whether or not their arms are quiet and into their body on that front kick set coming forward. So watching those elbows, that's maybe something that Bryson can look back at and compare if he has any extra movement there or not on that front kick line. So he gets a 7.57, so a nice high score for his second form. Taegu Chiljung. combined score coming in at 7.35. Up next, we have Humza Kwazi. Humza is from Illinois, training at iTiger Taekwondo.
시작.
He has a really stable neck and head, so we don't get a lot of like head jerking that sometimes we'll see on some of these moves. His torso staying nice and tall. He could sit a little bit lower in some of these stances, but the upper half is very sturdy.
Interesting. I think the highlight of the form was the front kicks. He has pretty good extension on that. He used a very interesting timing for that back line where he kicked his hand, and then there was almost a beat of time before he did the elbow strike. So many athletes run those two things together quite quickly, but he picked a different timing. So this front kick line here is what I was referring to when Bryson was going up, like, are these arms controlled and contained, or the elbows kind of flapping out to the side? That was interesting timing on both forms for Humza Kwazi. Pretty careful, right? Very careful, very intentional. 7.56 for the second form. Up next, we have John Hyun Ho from Korea.
We have a couple of the Korean athletes who made it here into the finals, didn't we, Coach Brand?
Right, we have two. So we have, let's see, yeah, one more coming up at the end, came into the round in first. So John Hyun Ho will get 7.43 for the first form. So he came into this round in 5th place, but so far he has the lowest score for Taeguk Cheojung.
Well, we're never sure what's going to happen in the finals. I think we left a lot of really talented athletes in the semis, and then Bowman Kim, who came in here in 8th place, but has finished very high in the top in previous events. So far right now, holding on to that 1st place spot, even though he came in at 8th. John Hyun Ho, though, was very strong in the semis, so maybe here he can boost up with these kicks to try and get a higher score on podium.
Right, we did have a lot of very, very strong athletes that we left in the semifinal round. And within these 8, we might see a little bit of jockeying for position. So he gets a 7.57. That ties him up with Bryson Lavorne for that second form. He'll finish with a 7.5. So this is Gavin Zhao next. Gavin is from New York. He trains at Team Pro Taekwondo with his coach Jung Jin Kim.
Stop.
Interesting. He almost does a kick with the heel off the ground, and as he finishes the kick, then he drops it down.
Well, it's hard, I think, to differentiate yourself in this group. We do have a ton of different height of the athletes. We saw Humza take a slightly different tempo approach. So whatever they can do to kind of stand out here for the judges, maybe it's a different tempo, maybe it's pushing the kicks faster since they're all pretty high. They have to find something.
Right. Well, Gavin did a really great job in the semifinal round to come into this one in fourth, and he gets a 7.53. So it's still Bowman Kim with the highest score so far for Taeho Chiljung.
Stop.
Really great reach on the side kicks, a little bit of an up and down as he moves through some of these transitions. I think because he is trying to push long front stances, but then can't hold on to it as he moves to the next stance.
Right. He's really trying to push a lot of power through. He's using every bit of power that his arms can generate, his arms and shoulders. I'm not sure, maybe his core can help him out a little bit more with that.
Wow.
7.73, nice strong scores. Like every time he moved, you saw that hair kind of flip from, side to side there. 7.63. So now just behind Bowman Kim, who has a 7.65. Up next, we have Sean So from California. He trains at the Eagles with Jung Hwang Jin.
I remember the Eagles teammates in the senior division on Chiljung at that top line where they go into their rib cage punches. They have such a long step there. It's impressive.
They're very long, very aggressive.
Yeah.
And so close to the camera, it looks really great. That's 7.8.
Wow.
Sean usually gives a very strong, solid performance, and that one right there, easy for him to navigate.
시작.
It looks like his hand techniques might be finishing just after some of his stances are finishing, but there's so much power. I'm interested to see what the judges think here on this one.
I think another very high score on the way for Sean So. There you go, 7.9. Wow. So I see what you mean about the timing, but his overall performance is really stellar today. 7.85. Here are standings so far with 2 athletes to go. We have Sean So in first place with a handy lead over Bowman Kim, Gavin Zhao, Hamza Kwazi, Bryson LeBourne, and John Yoon Ho. Up next, we have Eric Gunn.
It's me.
Eric is from New Jersey, trains at Apex Tigers Martial Arts with his coach, his instructor, and his father, Gidu Gunn.
Eric has had a really great last couple of years. He's been on the national Poomsae team, competed at a bunch of international events recently, and he was also just selected, I think, to represent the US one of the upcoming tournaments. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right. He just won the 2020 Open World Championship Open in the cadet division. He took the gold medal. Eric gets a huge score here, 7.9, which is a score Sean received for his second Poomsae. So let's see if Eric can get higher than what Sean got in his first, which is a 7.8.
시작.
A little bit late sometimes on finishing the front stance. He finishes the stance and then can't quite straighten out that back leg. That's what we saw on this top line here. That's the only thing really in the form. Otherwise, very, very strong performance from Eric Gunn in Taega Gojang.
쉬어. 차렷. 견해.
Look at that, 7.97. Hardly get much closer to an 8.
Yeah, his presentation went up even higher there in that second form to give him that little boost.
Yeah, 7.935, and now into first place, but we still have Choi Won-hyuk from Korea, and he came into this round in first place.
Really nice volume on the hand techniques. I think the top athletes just have a really nice way of making it look very easy, very calm, and then just such a strong finish at the end. But look at this.
Yeah, 7.7, so things might turn around a little bit for some of our athletes in this final round, namely Bowman Kim, Sean So, and Eric Gunn now in a strong position. Good performance from Choi Won-hyuk from Korea. He received a 7.7 for Taega Gojang. Now for Taega Gojang, let's see, 7.83. A good score, I think, but not strong enough to hold his first place position. He'll finish with a 7.765. I think that puts him around third. So let's see here, final standings in this junior male black belt division. Eric Gunn in first, followed by Sean So, Choi Won-hyuk, Bowman Kim, Gavin Zhao, Hamza Kwazi, and Bryson Lavorne. Up next, we have the male recognized junior blue belt division. And we have one athlete in this division. He is John Michael Blanco from Arizona. I remember this setting. You too, Miyako?
Yeah, we got to see this, another athlete. It's such an interesting dojang. It looks like more of a gym than a dojang. And we get this diagonal angle here. It's a really cool place to get to see.
He's doing a real good job. I'm not sure if the angle throws off the athletes when they're recording at this 45, but he's doing a really good job here. That's John Michael Blanco from Arizona. He gets a 5.74. Well, that's fun. He gets to do samjang.
Well, he is tall and he has these long, long legs. He needs to sit a little bit deeper, a little bit longer. I mean, geez, his legs are more than half his body. They're so long.
Right. Tons of potential.
Yeah, he keeps those heels down, extends those stances. His form could look so nice.
Right. Once he learns to pivot on the balls of his feet, that's going to go a long way to improving his score. Again, that's John Michael Blanco. Good job. The 6.06, boosting his score a whole 0.25. Actually, more than that. That was good. And finishing up with a 5.9. And of course, he'll take the win, take the major in this 2021 US Open. Up next, we have our junior male red belt final. I think we have do we have a full stack here? Almost.
I think it might be 7.
Yeah, almost a full rack here coming to the junior male red belt final. Up first, we have Jae Min. He's from Texas. He trains at Optimum Taekwondo Training with his coach, Mario Romero. I think this is the first time we've seen this this event, right?
Right. I don't recognize it. I don't recognize the name of the school, but Jae-hong here is opening up with nice stances. Look at this.
Yeah, maybe we'll see more of the athletes from this school at our session 3, right? When we have our youth athletes go, our over 70 division, and our para athletes. We still have more US Open action.
That's right. This is just the end of session 2. We have 3 whole episodes of session 3 coming at us in just a few days. So make sure you still tune in and cheer on your teammates if they're in that last session.
Jae-hong's looking really good. I'm a fan. He's got some good power coming through all of those steps of take up pole jump. Look at that, 7.6.
And that's especially impressive because as red belts, that's their highest form. They may not have had it for very long. And he was so clean, precise, good power. All right, here we go, 5.
Oh, really good. A real good sense of his balance. I almost wonder if he's been in a prior martial art before. He's very, very stable.
And he can go back to the junior black belts who just went a few minutes ago to watch how the black belts are doing ojang. It'll be a nice episode for him to go and watch.
Right, pick up on that timing. So you got a 7.6. And look, even higher.
Wow. Yeah.
Some of those black belts will look at this division. See how the belts are getting time. That's a great score. 7.67. He's finishing with a 7.635. That might be hard to beat. Up next, we have Evan Kim from Texas as well. He's at maybe a neighboring club, world champion Taekwondo, and he trains with his coach, Nan Yo Chu. Good. Some very good moments there, especially with the jumping kicks. Got a nice solid 7.03.
Evan helps out at his Taekwondo school. He takes great pride in volunteering to lead students in the lower belt classes, which I think is a good thing that really helps us develop our own skill, helping the younger belts out. And then he also is a passionate trombone player in his middle school band and has been recognized for the all-region band.
He had a couple of good sidekicks out there in Taekwondo. He finished a little bit low, I think, maybe on that last back fist. But the side kick, especially the first one, went out really nice. You get to 6.8 for that performance. So Evan Kim will finish with a 6.915. Up next, we have Nathaniel Artaby. Nathaniel's from Maryland, and he trains at S Martial Arts with his coach, Michael So.
Well, all of these guys in this division are so tall. Coach Brand, look, here we have Nathaniel, who looks to be about 8 feet tall.
Or the room is very small.
Or well, we have seen this dojang before. I know because it's in Maryland, which is where I am. But man, he's gonna like kick the ceiling. He's so tall.
Right, he is working through this though. Like he's super comfortable with the space, right? Like he trains there every day. No missed beats here from Nathaniel Artaby. Looking good. Very nice. Trying to make sure he has that definite finish on some of those hand techniques at the end. Good job, 7.06.
And in this division, we actually do have an international player from Nicaragua. So this order is random. Even if we might have seen some of these athletes in previous events and they're ranked, it's totally randomized because of the international player.
Right. I think his performance is a little bit impacted by his hair, just in that, I mean, he's got beautiful hair, but I do need to see his eyes as a maybe, you know, one part of the whole form. That would be good to have there.
Right. I think we've seen athletes in some of the even senior divisions, actually, they pull it up either in a little like ponytail on the top or a little bun, clip it back, gel it back even. Definitely something that might help him just so we can see his face and make sure his eyes are looking in the right direction at all times.
Right, because we need to have our eyes looking up when we're kicking, right? And straightforward on the hand techniques. And if the referees can't assess that, then it might be difficult. Like the score might just go up a little bit from that 706 or 703. So those are good scores. And I think he's in second. So 7.045, yes, he is. So maybe that could be impacted in a good way. This is William Hayes. William is from world champion Taekwondo Fairfield, coached by Gunsu Kim and Kwanjin Ha. See, his hair is quite long too, but pulled back. Although his coach, KJ Ha, tends to let it, you know, drift down toward his eyes too. So maybe willing to take the hit on the score to have the style.
I think William could do a little bit bigger volume of motion on his hand techniques. So making sure that they don't dip below the belt, like right there, the scooping hand is going below, but let it kind of go up a little bit higher towards the philtrum and then back down to the shoulder height rather than lower.
Well, he gets a 6.93.
He is right in the mix here, though, with the last two athletes. Jae Hong Min, though, that first athlete opened up with that massive 7.635, so that's the score to beat right now. But, of course, everybody in the finals here will get ranking points by competing in the US Open. It's a 12.0 event. So, Coach Brand, this isn't a full division, right? So if there's not a full 8, then there's not a full amount of points. So do go back to the packet to see how many points there are, but everybody here will get some amount of points.
That's right. This is William Hayes. Yeah, 6.93 in his first form. And now 6.9 for the second.
Ooh, this is going to be close here.
Yes. That's fun. It finishes with a 6.915. So
It's
a tie with Evan Kim. And that seems about right to me, right? The two performances. This is Nam Garcia from Nicaragua.
시작.
A little bit of a rise and fall in some of his transitions, but good power. A little bit of shifting in that 8 count there. Little long on these tiger stances, but a good example of looking up at the front kicks without moving your head up, right? You just want to look with your eyes, and he does a good job with that.
Right. We don't need to tilt our chin way back for that. Nam did a really good job. Looks super clean in some of the moments throughout the Poomsae. He gets a 7.44. So you were talking about the points just a moment ago. And if there's just one athlete in the division, then the athlete will receive 25% of those 120 points, right, Miyako? Points, right? So if there's 3 or less, then an athlete would get 50% of those points. So in this 120-point event, they would get 60 points. If there are 4 or more athletes in a division, then you get the full points.
Ah, so great.
7. Yes, we have 7. So we're going to get some full points here for the winner. So that's Nam Garcia from Nicaragua. He has 7.44 for the first form.
That's with even a couple double pivots and some little accuracy deductions here, but good score on the presentation. It's really pulling him up.
So this should put him into second under Jae-Hong Min, who opened up with that huge score. So he has a 7.47 and into second. This is Samuel Mejia. Samuel is from Maryland as well, just like his teammate Nathaniel Artaby. He's from S Martial Arts, also coached by Michael Soap.
He jumped way high on that double front kick coming forward. He like floated in the air. I imagine he's good at basketball. Like, I don't know, volleyball, places where you have to jump. Oh, nice power on that punch.
Interesting preset on the knife hand blocks. Almost goes, down and up on his presets, or up and down, I should say.
Yeah, dipping way below the belt there on those single knife hand blocks. So very deliberate.
Right.
On his timing.
Samuel Mejia with a 6.8. Gonna need a little boost in this second Poomsae to get himself a shot.
시작.
Not a lot of extra body motion on those kicks. Pretty solid.
Yeah, I think he has a lot of good things going here. One heel pivot there. The deliberateness is really good. He did get a 2.6 on accuracy in the last form. So I wonder if he's just getting a couple deductions here and there. Because overall, it is pretty clean. It's pretty good for a red belt. He's going through it pretty well, understands the accuracy for the most part. Just a couple little things that he's going to get those minors on.
Yeah, his side kicks went out there like fire. They were super fast. They were not super high, but they were super fast. And he was able to control them and finish with balance. So good job. He gets a higher score here, a 6.93. So he'll finish with a 6.865. And we have one more competitor in this division. Here are our standings going into that. So we have Jae-Hong Min in first, followed by Nam Garcia, Nathaniel Artaby, Evan Kim, William Hayes, and Samuel Mejia. And we have Tejas Gita here. He's from Sacramento, trains with us here at Sacramento Taekwondo. So this is familiar space for him. This is his Zoom class environment. Lately, we've been at the park, but we were in this space for quite a bit of time since March of 2020.
Well, this is great. Paul Jong does come forward quite a bit, but he has, that looks like enough room to do basically all of the Poomsae. I think he can come forward, nice room to the sides.
Right, oftentimes it's both he and his sister in that space. So
that might make it a little tighter.
Yeah, a little tighter.
I think if he could just work on the freeze a little bit more. So he's just like, go, 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 go. But we got to pause in between each move to make sure we get those good clicks and then move on.
Right, he gets a 6.2 on the first one. Right, so there's a lot of blending there, right? So we want to connect, but we do have to finish the movement first before we can connect. So when we blend too much, it starts to look a little blurry. Doing that more so on this form where he's actually finishing cleaner.
Just barely staying in screen. He's tall here. Gotta get lower stances just to fit into space.
A little bit longer front stances would suit him well, but I'm not sure if he's feeling compressed in the space. I think stronger performance on this one, Taego Ojang. Let's see if the referees agree. And yes, 6.5 for his second form, so good. He's going to finish with the 6.35. So let's see how the whole standings fall into place here. We have Jae Hong Min in first, followed by Nam Garcia from Nicaragua, Nathaniel Arterby, Evan Kim, William Hayes, Samuel Mejia, and Tejas Gita. Good job to everybody in that division. I think we're about to head to our female junior division, right, Miyako?
That's right. Yeah, we're all done with the guys. Congratulations to everyone who made it into the finals. You are getting those ranking points. But now we're moving to the female freestyle, under 17.
준비.
Surf.
This is Sofia Hernandez from Team Forge.
And Sofia Hernandez gets a score of 5.4. Up next, we have Lindsay Kim from Connecticut, world champion Taekwondo.
경애.
And that was Lindsay Kim getting a score of 4.97.
Up next, we have Aubrey Yamashita. Aubrey is from California, trains at Sky Martial Arts Academy.
바로 시작. 차렷 경례.
That was Aubrey Yamashita from California Sky Martial Arts Academy getting a 5.27.
This is Sydney Moon. Sydney Moon is from California.
바로 차렷 경례.
That was Sydney Moon from California getting a score of 5.14.
This is Chloe Ng. Chloe Ng is from California and trains at Coos Martial Arts and Team M Community Program.
바로 시작 Juliet 그냥
And Chloe Ng gets a score of 5.87.
This is Valentina Glines from California, trains at KS Choi Taekwondo Center.
시작.
That was Valentina Glines from California getting the biggest score so far, a 6.440.
Here are standings so far in the under 17 female freestyle division. Valentina Glines in first, followed by Chloe Ng, Sofia Hernandez, and Aubrey Yamashita. Up next, we have John Legaspi. that huge score.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Legaspi with a huge 7.46.
Gapping everybody there by a whole point.
Whole point. Yeah. Whole point. It's amazing. This is Yu Kwan from California.
Hello. So, Juliet, Kenya.
And Yu Kwan is a 6.76, so now into second place.
준비?
Up now is Allison de Guzman from California, training with Elite Taekwondo and Team M Community Poomsae program.
Hello. So, Juliet, Kenya.
That's Allison de Guzman with a nice strong score, 7.33. Up next, we have Hannah Noble. Hannah's from California and trains at Manila and Team M Taekwondo. So Hannah Noble finishing up there with a 7.4, and here are our standings at the end of the under 17 female freestyle round. John Legaspi in first, followed by Hannah Noble, Allison de Guzman, Yo Kwan, Valentina Glines, Chloe Ng, Sofia Hernandez, Abri Mamashta, Sydney Moon, and Lindsay Kim. And here are female recognized junior black belts. Up first, we have Megan Cho from iTiger Taekwondo in Illinois. She's coached by Bo-Yeon Kim.
시작.
So now our junior girls are doing ojang. So we get lots of ojang in this episode. Really fighting for those side kicks there. Saw her gripping hard with that base leg, but she held on to both of them.
She's got nice reach. The right one went a little bit easier for her than the left, but good job to Megan. She gets a nice strong 7.47 for taking ojang.
시작.
Oh, well, this is fun. So this is, I think, our first black belt form of the episode.
It's very refreshing to be able to see choreo be maybe the deciding factor for these athletes in this junior round.
I think if Megan could pull her torso up faster out of the side kicks, it might help with her balance, because her torso is coming up a little bit slowly, and I feel like that's maybe why she's losing her balance just a tad on that base leg. But really side crunching up quickly might help her a little bit there. But really strong performance overall in these two forms.
Yeah, let's see how she does. She got a 7.47 for ojang, and now for choreo 7.23, so a little bit of a drop there for the second score for Megan. She'll finish with a 7.35. Up next, we have Piper Kindle. Piper is from California. She trains at Team M Taekwondo with her coaches An Hui and Long Win.
시작.
She does a really good job at keeping her heel down in transitions. Sometimes you see it coming up just a little bit, or like, really harsh heel pop. That does not happen with Piper. She's really good control there.
No, it's a good score, 7.24. I think the highlight of her form was the alignment on those side kicks. It's really crystal clear on those.
시작.
Yeah, two good pairs of side kicks in this form as well. Sometimes a little bit shallow on some of the stance work. Maybe could lock out that back leg a little bit, get just a little bit more grounded. You can see a little bit of that here on this last line. Almost there, almost there. So Piper got a 7.24 on the first form, and now with this double pair of great side kicks, let's see how she does on choreo. 7.17. I thought it might be a little bit higher than that, honestly.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Her accuracy dropped even lower in that one, so judges were seeing something.
7.205 for Piper's final score. And up next we have Yuri Kim from the Wangale, USA, which is in California. She trains with her coach Sang Jae Lee.
시작.
Well, Yuri Kim says her favorite, all-time favorite thing to do is eat Korean barbecue. Which is a must after long hours of training.
Oh, wow. She looks very good in this form, very consistent throughout the entire thing. Her timing was pretty strong throughout the form. She gets a 7.33. That's under Megan Cho, but above Piper Kindle's first score.
And these 8 athletes, again, had a full prelim, 2 flights into the semis. So now here into the finals in the reverse order of the scores from the semis. So we sort of expect some amount of increasing scores, but just like we saw with the guys in the junior black belt division, there was quite a mix around with the scores, just depending on what forms they get in, who does what.
Right, I think it was like Bowman Kim, right, who started off in 8th place and finished up, I think, around 4th place. So
yeah, I think he got bronze.
Right. So Yuri now in 6th place. So let's see if she can bump up to another couple levels into that medal group.
바로. 시작.
So Yuri got a 7.33 for Taega Gojang. Now for choreo, what all the athletes have experienced so far, a little bit of a drop in their score for choreo. I think that's the same accuracy score, if I'm not mistaken, that Piper got, 7.215. This is Yeon Jung. She trains in Alabama at her family's club, JYT USA.
시작.
Lots of hip motion here coming forward.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice, really locking it in. A lot of athletes with long limbs like Yeon might think that just extending those limbs would be enough and giving them full volume, but she's really backing that up with a lot of hip push into it.
바로.
And she gets 7.4, so still under Megan Cho's score of 7.47 for Ojung.
So the big question for this division, I think, is going to be who can keep a high choreo score to match their first one, because all the athletes so far are dropping at least a 10th, sometimes 2 tenths.
Well, Yeon was off to a really good start. That first line was really strong. The side kicks really popping up to the ceiling.
Yeah, she has really great kicks. She looks tall, so good volume of motion, making it look easy, and then just having the power come through at the end versus trying to push the power earlier in the technique. There's that double hip action again that we saw in Ojung in the last line of choreo.
The Yeon got a 7.4. That was the second highest score. So let's see if she can bump up her choreo score. I think so. Oh, it's same thing, 7.14. Isn't this surprising?
Yeah, the judges really taking accuracy deductions here. 2.97 for, I think, the third athlete in a row.
Right, 7.27 for Yuan Zhang. Just barely over Yuri Kim's score. This is Caitlin Marie Reclusado. Caitlin is from California, trains at Boston, USA. They're her coach, Sangjae Lee. Really coming out with a lot of power on this front line. Good place to do it, facing the referees there, straight center line.
Caitlin also has represented the U.S. on the national team and looking really strong here today. She also just recently got appointed to the team for the 2021 Online World Taekwondo Open Poomsae Challenge.
Look at this, we have a new high score in the first Poomsae, 7.57 from Caitlin Reclusado.
시작.
And I think that Caitlin won that spot on the team combination of points and I think having won a major. So really just goes to show how important these ranking points are at our major tournaments. It can help you get on the national team roster, which right now does not have many people. So if you're on that roster, you have a good chance of trying to make it to the national team when things like this rolling worlds that's this year. Right now we have the juniors, but in a couple months, I think the cadets go, and then a couple months later, the seniors and masters go.
바로 샷.
That's Caitlin Reclusado. She got the highest score with a little bit of a gap as well on Taeka Kojang, 7.57. And now another big score, 7.53, so easily into first place. Caitlin's combined score is 7.55, and now the target everybody's going to be trying to hit. Up next, we have Ahana Mulchandani in the super cool, looks like home workout training space.
시작.
Ahana's from Texas. She trains with Eagles, and her coach, Jung Hwan Jin.
Lots of power, but those elbows coming out a bit on that forward line like you talked about when we watched the junior males do this. Maybe for her, just keeping those in. Wow, she's really using every inch of the width of this space.
Right. And every bit of power she can muster. So that's Ahana Mulchandani finishing up with Taeka Kojang. She gets, wow, the highest score, 7.6.
시작.
Maybe not super tight in between those two side kicks, but getting a good reach. Tons and tons of hand power here. Just barely fitting in the camera. Yeah, especially in that top line of choreo, I think she had to shorten up just a little bit. She was just inches on both sides. I don't know if that's affecting her, you know, how she's going through it or not. I know it did when I was doing it in a small space, but she had tons of power, at least in the hand techniques, even if the side kicks weren't quite as high as some of the other ladies so far.
So that's Ahana Mulchandani. She got a 7.6 for Taeka Kojang, and now a 7.47, the fate of most of our athletes in the division with a slightly lower score for choreo. So she'll finish with a 7.535. That puts her into second. Oh, let's see the standings right here. Caitlin Reclusado in first, followed by Ahana, Megan Cho, Yuan Zhang, Yuri Page, and Piper Kendall. Up next, we have Samantha Valdez. Samantha's from California. She trains with Team Kim Boyan.
시작.
And Samantha Valdez, I feel like, was one of the surprise superstars from the semifinals here, coming into the finals in second place.
Right, she's really trying to push up the power going through Taegukgojeong.
She does have some heel pops. Really need to work on kind of keeping those heels low, even as you try and generate power with her hands.
Right. Samantha's going to start off with a good score, though, 7.53. That's the same score that Caitlin Reclusado got for choreo. But I think, yeah, the third highest score for Taegukgojeong.
시작.
She's a nice tight chamber between those two side kicks. Very quick, her kicks. They come up, you know, just like that.
And they really do. It's like she's punching them out pretty quick.
바로. 차렷.
So that's Samantha Valdez from Team Kim Boyan. She got a 7.53 for her first form, and now a drop as well, 7.16. The accuracy, boy, they're taking some hits there, 2.93 to 2.97, like typically, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she'll finish with a 7.345. Up next, and this is our final competitor of the division, Naomi O. Naomi is from Arizona. She trains at Arizona Pride Taekwondo and World Taekwondo Center. Their coaches Ruben Lawley and Megan Yee.
Well, Naomi, I think, won a gold medal at the 2019.
And that's Naomi O with a huge score, 7.63. And easily the highest score. Well, actually not that much of a gap. Ahana Mulchandani got a 7.6 for Taegukgojeong.
Right, so it's going to be here to choreo. The highest score so far combined is a 7.55. So there is some room to get a slightly lower score here on choreo for Naomi. All right, here's the moment of truth for the female junior black belt division. The choreo score.
Yeah, the choreo curse in this one, a little bit of a drop for most people. Let's see if it happens to Naomi or if she's able to ride it out. A little bit of a drop, but not much, 7.53.
I think that's enough, definitely, for her to go into first here, or hold it her first.
7.58.
Yeah.
And you know, it's close though. So many good
It is.
competitors.
It is.
Naomi just ekes it out here, 7.58 over Caitlin Reclusado, Ahana Mulchandani, Megan Cho, Samantha Valdez, Yun Jong, Yuri Page, and Piper Kindle. All really fine athletes, and you know, it's tough to see anybody not get a medal in that division. Everybody looks so strong. Up next, we have the female recognized junior blue belt division. Up first, we have Upasana Biswas. She trains in Kansas at Zhang's Taekwondo Martial Arts.
Couple heel pops here as she's moving through. So I think that's just something we probably don't realize we're doing at this stage as blue belts. But so just keeping those heels on the ground, but then also making sure you pivot on the ball of your foot. So sort of weird, but something to work on.
Right, she starts off with a 6.4.
시작.
Lots of Ojung in this episode, so plenty to study for the athletes. Right, I see those heel pops there a little bit, so when transitioning from line to line, we have to keep that heel down.
And then maybe for this athlete, she can go back and watch the division just before. I think it was Samantha Valdez who finished 5th, but she had a really tight chamber on her side kicks. That would be a good example here for Upasana.
Right, she gets a 6.14 for Taegeuk Bojang. She's going to finish with a 6.27. Up next, we'll have Kaylee Jung. Kaylee is from Texas, and she trains at World Champion Taekwondo with her coach, Nanyo Cho. And Katie's going to start off with a 6.74. That's a really nice gap for her over Upasana, who had a 6.4.
That's right. And then, of course, now our second form is Ojang, which is the highest form these blue belts probably know, learning it recently. So we saw the score drop on the first athlete. We'll see if Kaylee's able to kind of feel comfortable here with this new form and get an equally high score. Some of these front stances looking a little bit short. Again, here's another athlete could work on the chambering motion for the side kick. We want it to be chambered nice and tight, both on the way up into the side kick and then back in on the way down. That will help with balance and overall power. Kaylee Jung gets a 6.5, so pretty good there. Not too much of a drop on her second form. So her combined score will be a 6.62. So nice gap for her there. Up now we have Suriksha Gurung.
시작.
And Sudiksha is from Massachusetts. She trains at Evolution Martial Arts. Nice high front kicks over her head, always nice to see. she gets a score of 6.57 on her first form. So right there in between the first two athletes.
시작.
We were talking earlier about letting the technique finish before moving on to the next step. She does a really good job of that with the hand technique. She does finish. She could go out a little bit further in some of these stances. She's got a lot of room to grow there.
Good side kick flexibility though. And nice high front kicks again.
Oh, nice front kick.
차렷. 경례.
So she got a 6.57 on her first form.
And a nice little bump, 6.6 on the second. So Sudikshya will finish with a 6.585. This is Madeline Yi. Madeline trains in Florida with ICTA's Taekwondo team. Nice high kicks to start off.
Her hand techniques are a little bit high. The punches are almost shoulder line instead of solar plexus line. Yeah, see there again. So we might be getting some minor deductions on a lot of those. We'll see how harsh the judges want to be with them. But I think that would be something she can easily change and have the presentation go up a lot because those front kicks are really highlights.
Right. Oh, wow. She gets a pretty good score, 6.4. Right. So our arm is attached at the shoulder height, right? So sometimes it feels very natural for us to just throw the arm out at that height when we're first starting out.
And then especially here in this first, the line coming forward in Ojang, the height of the hand techniques is so important. They have to be different here. The back fist comes to the philtrum, and then the out and middle block has to be at shoulder height. Here, the single knife hands again at shoulder height. So I think she's tied right now with the 6.4 with the first athlete from the first form. If she just lowers some of these hand techniques, that score will immediately go up by a few tenths.
So this is Madeline Yi. She received a 6.4 for Taegu Samjang and now a 6.26. So a little bit lower on that one. She's going to finish up here with a 6.33. First, the standings. Kaylee Jung in first, followed by Sudikshya Gurung, Madeline Yi, and Upasana Biswas. Up next, we have our male recognized junior green belt division. We have one athlete in this division, Jillian Murphy. Jillian trains in Alabama with JYT USA and her coach, Sengap Jung.
I got confused there because she's wearing the Poomsae uniform with the blue pants, and that green belt looked like a black belt. She's going through so confidently here.
Right, so she gets a lucky draw, gets to do Taegu Giljung. That's a lot of fun. And Jillian's going to get a 6.73.
시작.
Very flexible. Now there's a situation where we do want to punch high, right?
Right, right. This form does have those high punches. I think for Jillian, she has a lot of really good things in her form. The one easy deduction that she's getting can be fixed is those heel pops. Just got to keep them on the ground.
Right. So we have Taegu Ijung there with those high punches that we talked about. The only Taegu with those high punches. She gets a 6.57. And she will combine that with a 6.73 to finish up with a 6.65. And she'll take the division and all the points. Up next, we have the female recognized junior red belt final. Up first, we'll have Serena Chu. Look at this space, Miyako. What do you think?
This is great. So Chiljong, the first form she's doing here, it's a very difficult form, lots of moves that we don't see in a lot of other places. Got to watch some of these hand techniques. The accuracy is just a little bit off for Serena. But man, she has such a great training place. I am very jealous here.
Have super scenic out that window. So 5.1, so going in the correct direction, using the right line of motion. So that's a really good place to start for Serena. And she could just build on that. So Miyako looks like she's trying to stay pretty contained on this fairly narrow mat.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it might be impacting her stance size, right?
Right, definitely. Yeah, this is a pretty narrow set of mats. But she probably needed this diagonal to try and get the longest line, right. But she's really shortening and doing some gymnastics here in the stances to try and stay on these mats. So honestly, next time, I think Serena, if we have a next time, or if you're just practicing, you probably don't even need the mats, given that it doesn't quite fit in the space well. You could just do it on that hardwood floor, and that would be totally fine. But of course, USA Taekwondo has announced that we're having some regional Grand Prix series coming up. So maybe we won't have any more online recording video submission tournaments, and we'll just go to in-person in June.
Right. So we're going to be, Serena's from California. She'll be able to go out to that Western regional in Las Vegas. So she'll get another crack at it. So she had a 5.1 on the first one, right? Now 5.03. So she'll finish with a 5.065. So we have 6 athletes all together in this division. Up next is Julianne Wang. Julianne is from New York, out there training on a nice sunny day.
Oh man, but it's probably cold. It's pretty warm out now, but when they were recording these back in March, you know, it was cold on the East Coast. So kudos to Julianne.
Right.
More kudos are owed because Julianne is a 2021 United Nations Association USA Emerging Leader Award recipient.
Wow. Wonder what she did in order to get that type of award.
Well, she is the publicity committee chairperson of Tutoring for a Good Cause, a certifying nonprofit organization for the President's Volunteer Service Award.
Oh, wow, that is fantastic. And Julianne gets a good score, 6.07.
Yeah, that's a huge jump over our first athlete here by a whole point almost.
Right, with 6 athletes in the division, anything can happen. We could have quite a big scoring range. So I was mentioning that the first Grand Prix is out here on the western area in Las Vegas, and that's June 11th through 13th. So Julianne lives out here in California. Oh no, actually she's in New York, so she's going to wait for that one on the East Coast. That's going to be in South Carolina, June 25th through 27th. Somewhere in the Greenville area. That will be announced soon.
And USA Taekwondo did just open up registration on Sport 80. So All 3 regions are now open. You guys can go check it out and sign up for your regional Grand Prix.
Oh, and Julianne, a little bit lower score this time, 5.57. Of course, it is a pretty difficult Poomsae. So she'll finish with a 5.82 and a bit of a gap over our first competitor, Serena Chu. This is Isabella Atala.
시작.
And Isabella's from East West Taekwondo.
Looks like Isabella has some nice long legs. Looks like she's trying to take a good long deep stance here.
Yeah, good motion. So she might be at that same regional that Julianne is going to be at, because she's also from the East Coast out there in Maryland.
That's right. So take a look at that map. You have to go to the regional based on the state that you are registered and live in.
So Isabella's going to start off with a 5.73. So that's right in the middle, right under Juliana and right above Serena. Nice high jump on that front kick.
Yeah, Isabella's long legs are definitely going to help her try and boost herself up here in the presentation with the long front kicks. Got to make sure that our hands and shoulders don't go up with those kick those. So you want to keep the body nice and calm while your legs go flying up.
While they go flying up?
Yeah. Fly, shoot straight up into the sky.
Junior.
It's a great image. So she had a 5.73, following up here with a 5.63. So all of the athletes so far took a little bit of a dip for their second Poomsae. So she's going to finish with a 5.68 and now into second place for Isabella Atala. Up next, we have Maria Figueroa. Maria is from Illinois. She trains at Flying V Martial Arts with her coaches Vincent Villena and Harold Martinez. Wow, real flexible front kicks.
Well, Maria has competed in 5 online competitions, finishing as high as 3rd in an international competition. And at the last in-person tournament that she competed in, she won Grand Champion. So now, hopefully, with all of this experience she has from the online competitions, proves she's been training consistently throughout the last year, she'll be able to go to one of those Grand Prix regionals and be consistent and strong, and we'll see how her scores are here.
Right, she's got a lot of potential in her kicking technique. She has a good score, 6.16, and the highest so far. So that online competition experience really paying off for Maria Figueroa.
Maria also loves watching and drawing anime. Ooh, we have some more nice deep stances here.
Yeah, that looks really good. It's good posture right there. Yes, very nice. See that?
Wow.
See that length there? So next step is getting that correct foot position attached to that kick. Really great potential.
Yeah, a couple early transitions and double pivots, heel pops, just here and there, a couple to work on. But she had the highest score so far on the first form. Let's see if she can get an equally high score on the second one now.
And almost everybody's dropped down a little bit. Oh, she actually went up to a 6.2.
Nice.
First athlete to get a higher score in the second Poomsae. That's got to feel good. And she finishes with a 6.18. This is Anna Banerjee training with us here in Sacramento at Sacramento Taekwondo. So she's done some of the online competition as well, and hopefully learn from that competition experience.
Yeah, also super flexible, long legs. Geez, everybody has long legs now. What is this? I'm very jealous.
Tell me
She
about
looks
it.
taller than both of us already.
Yeah, for sure. She definitely skies over me. She's probably about, I don't know, a foot or two over me at this point. A little bit of heel popping there on that one line, but in general, trying to make sure she's not doing that.
Yeah, she also maybe just growing a lot recently, but her front stances are a little bit short. So I think just making sure her hand techniques stay within her body frame and lengthening out those front stances. But geez, biggest score so far.
Well, it's a real good score. That ties her up with Maria's second score, right? Maria got a 6.2, I think, on the second Poomsae.
Yeah.
So if Anna can get higher than a 6.16, she'll be in a really good position. Let's try to put on some heat there in the punch.
Yeah, we did mention Maria, who went just before Anna, was the only person so far to get a higher score on the second form.
Oh, that's right.
So Anna here is going to have to continue to break that trend to get a higher score here on a more difficult form, but lots of front kicks, which look pretty good on her.
Yeah, good posture on those. Like Maria, could see those on the back line too, over the head. So that's always nice. Let's see how Anna does. She had a 6.2 for the first form, and now a 5.93. So missing there, that first slot, Maria is still holding on to it. She gets a 6.065. And this is Cara Polito, also from here in Sacramento. And she, like Anna and Maria, also has a lot of online competition experience.
That's right. I'm starting to recognize their house spaces. And I feel like some of the California athletes, we are seeing more of their homes and garages and backyards because it's a little bit nicer outside and you can't train at the dojang. But some of our other states, we're seeing the dojang. So it looks like here she's actually also trying to stay within this mat space and shortening up those stances, unfortunately.
Last time she didn't have a mat in this space, and this time she does, but it's probably 7, and that's the second highest score for the form, just below Anna Banerjee. So let's see what she does on her second form. The athletes have been having a tough time on this one. Now she doesn't have to go as much to the side as she could have on Taeguk Chiljang. So we'll see how this mat works out for her. She looks like she feels comfortable working on this mat. She's got some weights along the side of it to keep it in place. So you can see she didn't have to go out far to the side, but she could have gone out a little bit more to make that stance a little bit longer. The front kicks are a little higher. Front kicks are a little higher than last one. Yeah, little, like maybe one more mat all the way around, right?
Mm-hmm.
But since Grand Slam, her kicks have gotten a little bit higher, I noticed this time around. Last time she kicked quick, but a little bit lower. So good strategy trying to boost those kicks up. If you can do it, go for it. So now the battle's on a little bit. Let's see if she's able to get a higher score here. Oh, 6.1. Boy, those judges are really cutting it close here. And she gets a 6.135. I think that now puts her into third place. No, second. Maria Figueroa in first, Cara Polito in second, Anna Banerjee in third, followed by Juliana Wang, Isabella Atala, and Serena Chu. And now we have one more athlete left. This is Alicia Lee, and Alicia is coming to us from Oregon. She trains at Master Kim's World Champion Taekwondo and is trained by her coach, Jae Kyung Kim.
Alicia works for the Chinese Friendship Association of Portland, which is a nonprofit that has done a lot of uplifting of the community, especially during the pandemic. And over winter break, the Chinese Friendship Association of Portland, this group held a lot of free online activities such as math, singing, storytelling, and origami for children to stay busy while stuck inside. And she led an hour-long Taekwondo session through that.
Well, that's great. Wow, look at that score, 6.86.
That's a massive jump.
Alicia Lee gets the huge gap. We have so many of our Poomsae athletes doing fantastic volunteer work, community work. Makes us want to root for all of them.
Mm-hmm. And I think that you and I have noticed just by watching so much Poomsae, the more you watch, the more little details you pick up on. So maybe all of that volunteer work Alicia did teaching Taekwondo over Zoom helped her pick up on some little details that she was then able to correct in her Poomsae.
Well, she has a very good balance as she's going through the technique, not rushing, giving plenty of time. She can go out a little bit further on some of these stances, but in general, really good stability. So that's Alicia Lee. In first place, perhaps, after that huge 6.86, and follows it with a 6.63. She fell victim to that same drop a little bit, but I don't think it's going to matter to the standings. She's going to get a 6.745, and that is quite a gap at the end of the round. So here are the standings at the end of the female junior division. Alicia Lee in first, followed by Maria Figueroa, Cara Polito, Anna Banerjee, Julianne Wang, Isabella Atala, and Serena Chu. All really good athletes. Congratulations to all of you. Up next, we have our female recognized junior yellow belt final. I have been waiting all day for this one. And that's because there are two athletes in the division. I just love these like head-to-head battles. Our first athlete is Sage Yang, and Sage is from Texas. She trains at World Champion Taekwondo with Nanyu Chu. I mean, you probably remember your first battle, right? Your Poomsae battle.
Oh man, I don't. You know, I feel like I was too little.
She's got great kicks. Nice height on her front kicks. Era Sylvia is coming up next. She's watching, eyes glued to the screen. Sage gets a 6.73.
That's a good high score. You know, these athletes, yellow belts probably just starting this year, maybe. So for them to be competing here and looking so clean and strong is really huge, very impressive.
Yeah, really good kicks, a little bit short on the front stances, but right, you want to start them at this belt rank here. So it's just like a natural thing to do, right? Rather than kind of them working up into making it a huge enterprise when really they just got to jump on the mat at this stage, get their feet wet, have some fun. So Sage has some really nice technique. She got a huge 6.73 and following it up with an even bigger 6.97. Now the battle is on for Era Sylvia. Thinking about Sage Yang getting that combined score of 6.85 as she's watching. Eris is coming to us from Alabama. She trains with JYP USA with her coach Sengak Jung. Now she's taking a little bit slower approach. So it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out because her technique is accurate, but her pace is a little bit lower and her kicks are just about as high. Oh, if not the same height, right?
Yeah, nice high kicks, maybe not quite as powerful, but very intentional, pretty good accuracy.
Look at that, just under 6.7, while Sage got so 6.73. So I think all that has to happen is Era's getting like a 7?
Yeah, 7.
Somewhere around there.
That'll be a tie, so she has to get above that.
Tie would be great.
they're probably watching this like, no, no ties.
Either exciting. See who gets that presentation score. Actually, I think she might be going a hair faster on this one. That might work to her advantage and convince the referees to give her that high score and go past that tie. How are you doing, Miyako? Are you nervous?
I'm excited here. I don't know what's going to happen.
6.63, just under. It's a very close fight for those two. She'll finish with a 6.665. So there's the standings for our yellow belt division, this major event. Sage Yang taking it, closely followed by Eris Sylvia. Good job to both of them. Now we have the male freestyle, under 17, the final round. Up first, we have Vincent Chen. Vincent is from North Carolina. He trains with Aileen Salzberg and Zach Ferguson.
Document 1.
That was Vincent Chen getting a score of 6.63. What we want to know, and I'm sure everybody else wants to know, is, was that your house, Vincent?
Yeah, that's an amazing space. It looked like all of his furniture was pushed to one side and had that huge, awesome space. This is Andrew Lee. Andrew Lee is from California, trains with Sky Martial Arts Academy under his coach, Jun Yoon.
That was Andrew Lee from California, also getting a 6.63. So we're tied here with our first two athletes.
Right off the bat. Up next, we have Ethan Kim. Ethan's coming to us from Illinois Summit Martial Arts with his coach, David Kim.
바로 차렷 경례.
That was Ethan Kim from Illinois getting a 5.1.
This is Matthew Ross from New York, training at Agape Black Belt Center.
Was Matthew Ra from New York getting a massive 7.63. And I think it was all the dance moves and hair flips that really helped boost his score there.
This is Julian Matthew Gomez. Julian's from California and trains at Mock Martial Arts and Team M Community Program with his coaches Sungwoo An Hui, and Long Wei.
걸어. 쉬어. 차렷. 그냥.
That was Julian Gomez with a 7.56. Nice big score and into second place for him.
Up next, we have Anthony Do from Sacramento Taekwondo Club.
That was Anthony Do, another big score here, 7.47.
So here are the standings so far. We have one athlete to go still. Matthew Raw in first, followed by Julian Gomez, Anthony Do, Vincent Chen, Andrew Lee, and Ethan Kim. So our final competitor is Jake de Guzman.
시작!
All right, that was our final competitor here in the male under 17 freestyle division, Jake de Guzman from New Jersey with a whopping 8.07.
Huge score for Jake de Guzman. So let's take a look at the final standings here in this under 17 male black belt division. Jake de Guzman in first, followed by Matthew Raw, Julian Gomez, Anthony Doe, Vincent Chen, Andrew Lee, and Ethan Kim. Congratulations to everyone on their freestyle performances.